carried.
All right, it is now 6 o'clock. We'll get the meeting started. Call the meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Grant?
Yes.
Dean?
Here.
Ron?
Yes.
Yes.
Here. Thank you. Please observe with me a moment of silence. Thank you. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall here in the back of City Hall. It's also available in pamphlet form on the request at City Hall and can then be found at the link provided in this agenda. We are here to discuss the 2026-27 budget for garbage, police, and public transportation departments this evening. Go ahead and start with, you want to start with transportation? We can pick whichever, right? Let's go ahead and start with transportation since Tony is here. And we do have some changes from last year versus this year. They have made some cuts, but it doesn't sound like it was substantial enough to be anything that we need to overly worry about. It looks like the difference that will be out of our pockets this year is $11,296 is our local match. And then Jane, did you have the local match of what we paid out of pocket last year? You said it wasn't, last year was a little different than usual, but what was last year's?
12,323, right?
I think that was years past.
12,323 is what I wrote in for this year.
Okay.
Last year, it was only 3589, 3,580.
Yeah, it was pretty small.
But we just were with a million years. And for some reason, we thought we might get a grant for 15.5. I think that was for all that
We were hoping to,
software and all
right,
that
cause
stuff.
we thought we were gonna have to pay for that in this year and it
So-
ended up being, well, we're gonna end up paying for it this year, but it's substantially different than what we originally had planned.
Right.
And it won't necessarily be cheaper, but we'll get, instead of like half of it covered, it's gonna be like 95% covered, so it'll be substantially less out of pocket in the long run. Cause I think we were planning to eat like 15 to 20 of that last year, 20,000, it was
Yeah.
high, so it won't be near that.
So you know what you're looking at, yeah. Tanita provided that chart thing. I took these numbers and added them the way we break it down into this one that has penciled in line items. And we haven't really gone over it in detail, but if she were to say, you know, I'd rather have that $93 in this line item or something, then
Sure.
it's, you know, that could happen,
Mhm.
but it was done to see just what our match would be. I'm sure the county funds that, you know, the county, thanks to April, really increased their, you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Right,
How much the county gives us.
Right.
You know, the county gives us transportation money.
and last year after the budgets, yeah,
3,200, I think now it's 65.
I asked for more.
So, because we help a lot of county people too.
Right.
But that's part of our local match, I think.
So that's good.
So that's what you're looking at.
Cause the current year we're on is the first time we've received more, correct? They did that for that,
Yes.
that actually got it within the year, okay.
So, are you comfortable with the numbers, Jane? So, like, for the add-on stuff, weekend work and things like that that tend to come up through the year, people want, like, the Christmas light thing is pretty much, that's gonna be figured in already, right? But
For parades,
for
or
other,
one-off appointments,
Yes.
I think so.
Well,
Okay.
the wages on there comes, the three together comes to that 66,758, and just Tanita at 17, say, cost of living or something, she goes from 16.5 to 17 for 40 hours a week is 35,360. And then if we hire a part-timer, I don't know what we're thinking, 20 hours, 15.5 maybe at the most, would be another 16,120. So you're a bit under. I think the wages are plenty good here to have a couple extra events. I mean,
The other thing I
And
thought of, go ahead.
excuse me, I will donate my drive time for like the Christmas lights looking and that kind of stuff, if that helps with
Okay,
anything. I mean, I can't donate the gas,
sure,
but I will happily donate the drive to do those special things.
Okay.
I did for the parade this year.
well, yeah,
To
cause
me,
it's on a
the right
Saturday
thing to
too.
do. It's just the right
Okay.
thing to do.
I know this year it was pretty small by the time we prorated it, but our new route to the fort for the pool, we are looking at having that same option next year for the $5,000. And I think we prorated that, whatever we had for the last month, now that we only have a month, but we originally had estimated the entire summer starting Memorial Day weekend. And those are numbers completely in and completely out, because that's 100% covered with non-city funds. But have we moved,
that's a good point.
as I say, we need to move the total number to include those, probably.
Because it's gonna
In
filter
money,
through
yeah.
the city.
Yep, cause it'll have to filter through the city, so we'll have to adjust those numbers with that full amount to include the full in and the full out of that. It won't be anything that the city ends up paying for, but it'll come in and come out at the same amount.
So would we
5,000.
call it 5,000 under grant proceeds coming in?
Well, the whole 5,000 won't go to transportation, it'll be what we had broke down for the transportation estimate, and I think for the entire summer stretch, it was just under 2,000. And then we have, Jody helped us come up with numbers for next year, and I think it was a lot closer to 2,000, if not maybe a smidge over. So it would probably just be the 2,100 or what's just under that we would need to adjust for transportation, cause the other would just need to be wherever we put the other under general fund or whatnot, cause it's part of that, what would be covered for, for passes. Cause that's not really a transportation item,
Right.
it's passes, so.
Proceeds and
And it could be processed under grant, cause that entire program's covered with those foundation funds
So how'd you figure your transportation on?
for that route.
Yeah,
Cindy helped us work out exactly hours, what the mileage would be for the entire season, what the hours would be for the season,
With the gas.
what the
cost
gas would cost on
and
average with
one change
however
of
rates.
the oil.
Yes, one change of maintenance for oil. And so I think it was, we had all that figured into what would be Monday through Friday, once a day. And that we gave them a full-on estimate when we were working up what maybe could be before they agreed to it.
So you won't be running that stuff through the state, these things? I mean, are you gonna be able to separate out,
Should be able to,
you know?
you can double check with June, but where it's it's like doing the aging meals. I don't run that through the state because we can't count them.
And we had Cindy call in and ask quite a few times
Yeah.
as we started out the idea of brewing that in early April,
Right.
maybe even March, April is I think when we first started brainstorming that child. And we asked Cindy a lot of questions before I even got to really project that to the state, cause I wanted to make sure it wouldn't be a conflict of interest for our state obligations through our transportation program already. And I feel like we have
She talked to
emails that
June
says that
and Sarah and
it was cleared.
but the grant money's gonna come into transportation.
I don't think I think it would be appropriate for it to be, and then this last time I talked to Hannah, it was gonna be two separate transactions, because the one would stay within the cities and the other one's not, so like we'll get paid for the passes and then we'll pay that bill to the Ford for the passes.
Okay,
So that'll be a separate invoice, and then we'll bill for the bus, and then that foundation will pay for the bus, and then those funds will actually stay with the city. So that'll go in and out and stay with the city, but the passes will come in and out of the city, but it will not stay with the city, those will eventually be,
supposed to be
reimbursed to the
Yeah.
fourth, yes. Does that make more sense?
This passes part will be not the transportation, and it will be in and out.
Yes.
basically.
Yes, it'll be in and out, yes, just in a, not in the transportation department.
So, There's-
Transportation's part. If we're gonna write it into grant proceeds, do we just wanna balance it out in grant expenses?
I think so, I think that might be the easiest way to do that, cause it kinda is, I mean, it's a foundation donation, but it's kind of, it runs the gamut, very similar to grant proceeds.
so,
And we do have a prorated amount that we agreed to for this year, since it's kinda goofy where we're only doing it in a month.
Right,
so the roughly 2,900 that's set aside for passes. So, is it just first come, first serve, and when the money's gone, then
Correct.
yes,
Correct.
you're on
Yes.
your own?
Correct, and we originally had asked, it was originally in mind that we were gonna do family seasonal passes and individual seasonal passes. And we would log it all here, but as we went through trying to get this set up, and it changed many times, the donor was really concerned about getting our money's worth. And they felt it would be best if it was only individual passes. And then it was moved to day passes. They only wanted to do day passes to make sure that everybody that could get it. And then it was not just Crawford residents, it was just Crawford kids. And so we had asked the school for their directory list, which is a published list of who they had for Crawford kids. And I did have to clarify that to the state. We do have kids that come in from Whitney and from the Harrison area that are Crawford public school kids. So you are including more than just Crawford city limits kids, as we originally thought this would be.
right,
But if you want to have a list that you specifically refer to, which was really kind of driven down by the donator, that was the best way that we could help them with that. So they have that list to work off, and that they're gonna track that at the fort this year. So we'll see how that goes. Hannah and I would still like to see it go back next year. We'll see how successful it is this year, to see if they're able to use them all in a way that tracks numbers like they wanted to, as effective as they wanted to. But I do still feel like the funds would be better used how we originally had planned to use them, by doing family and single seasonal passes, first come, first serve, logged as through the city.
yes,
So,
Cause right now, they're really overtaxing all of their employees out there to try and track that when they're as busy as they are.
oh, okay, so
And the
Are they
daily
gonna-
stuff makes it hard too.
are they gonna let us know if we've maxed out? That's my
So-
concern, is
The
we're asking them.
superintendent out there and the manager of the pool are on the same page with us and with Jody and I, and even Tanita to watch it through the bus route. But we're all kind of, they know the number amount that we can't go over, and they have an estimated of, cause I think last we discussed it was single day passes, so they have counted out how many day passes that money would buy, and once they hit that number, they'll kibosh that program.
Okay,
So, and then I'd heard a little bit after that they were considering just individual season passes. So it's weird this year. It's been kind of frustrating because it's changed so many times, and I think it's kind of still
I think it is.
evolving. It might be hard to even nail down, but as long as they decide that they just want to get kids to come,
Yeah.
be covered for a certain amount, and whatever amount they agree on, then that's okay. We can call it whatever kind of pass they want to this year, especially where it's hard to do season for 1 month, because it really isn't a full season,
Right,
but it's still a full season cost. So however that donor wants to use that, I think it'd be great, and we'll make it work. But I think next year, if we could go back to what the original idea was, that would be really effective.
cause we had it metered out for a certain amount of individual
Yep.
passes and a certain amount of family passes.
Of kind of a guesstimation of what we thought it would cover.
so in order to get the day pass, do they have to ride the bus
No.
too?
That's all
Yeah.
independent, that just exists
Okay,
on its
so-
own.
so
They can
like
just go with their
The numbers
family.
that you're keeping track of may not reflect the actual numbers of kids that are
Right.
getting
Or
the
pass-
day pass.
Yes,
Right.
but we do wanna keep track of those numbers so that they know how impactful or worth it is to keep the bus route.
And I am,
Yep, so we're treating them as kind of two individual types that's all
Okay.
covered by the same foundation donation.
Sure.
So the transportation's part is gonna be partly mileage, fuel,
And wages for,
based on
cause we
per
came up.
diem of mileage, or?
Yeah, that's part of what cause we made like it was like a page and a half full estimate of exactly everything that, and as I said, it looks like Tanya's gonna go get a copy of it so you guys can peek at it. And we had the whole season mapped out from, cause when we originally talked about this, it was before they'd opened and they were really hoping to be open by Memorial Day, if not a week or two after that. And where that changed, then we tried to change with it, and then as that changed, then the donor had changed their mind, and we've been circling for a while. Lots of changes since then.
So then her mileage that she wants to claim against the grant expense, she'll have to just, we'll subtract that from her fuel bill or something?
You could prorate that,
And
yeah, you could prorate that,
Wouldn't it-
because
what-
it's written into the estimate to be covered.
What would the normal charge be for, okay, I wanna
Leave them.
ride to the
Oh, right, like
fort.
$4 or something, $2, $4.
So why aren't we
right,
just doing it like that?
Maybe, yeah.
Originally, we were just gonna, the original idea was not passes at all, it was just the bus.
Yeah.
And that's how the bus was incorporated, it was just, the bus was the original
Just gonna
idea.
Take everybody out and bring them back.
Right,
We weren't gonna
so
pay
we
for
were gonna
them.
do Monday through Friday, and the program duration was gonna be 57 total days, and that was gonna be from Memorial Day to the day before school starts, cause we said we couldn't cover them till the closing date, just till the day before school starts, cause we do enough bus routes for preschoolers and school kids that we couldn't do it during the school session. So that would be 57 total days. They depart from the Crawford Public Library at 1, and then they depart from Fort Robinson and return to Crawford at 3:30. They would not run on Memorial Day, and they would not run on the 4th of July if those happened during the week. And the average expense on daily operating costs, fuel would be $13 a day, driver's wages would be $20.75 a day for a daily cost of $33.75, and prorated to be $57, 57 days would be fuel, $471, driver's wages $1,182.75, with one oil change maintenance of $70 for a total program cost of $1,993.75.
We
for-
rounded it up.
Right, and that was for this season, and we did prorate that for as the day changed, and it's different than that now.
It is.
But we prorated it because we kept postponing, I mean, it was postponing every week and every week and every week and every week we came up with a new number to prorate those numbers to be just the days that we would actually be open. And so now it's like 30 or 31 days that we'll
They kept
run.
changing it and kept
Because
changing it, and
we
it
are only
would
running
open
from-
And it didn't open, and
Yeah.
it just,
We're only running from like
So
mid-July to mid-August now.
right.
So I will just pay you on payroll like usual.
Yes.
And you'll turn
Yeah.
it, the way you wanna turn it in.
Mhm.
And,
Right.
so that is a good question though, why we don't just do fares instead.
Well,
I'm
we were
just-
trying
I
to
need
come
to
up with
know
just what it would cost
when
to
I-
run the route in
When I get the
general.
Wesco bill, and I know that's her charge, do I just pay it like usual? And you
Well,
take
that's
care
an interesting,
of,
yeah.
or do I have to charge some of it to the grant expense? Yeah, we
I don't know that we need to break it out like that. I guess it's whatever, it's whatever would be maybe easiest for you or what would be
Or-
preferred by you or the auditors, because
Yeah.
that was just the number because they said, we need you guys to come up with a number of what it would cost to run. And so if we were to pay for it ourselves, that's what we would be paying to run that route. That's not what we're charging.
So you don't have to show
individual-
proof of receipt to match this
Correct,
5,000?
correct. So that's
So
just,
you
it
can
was
put it
just
wherever you wanna put
and
it.
yeah, it was an estimate of what it would take to run that program. So that would be what they would ideally cover to make it happen.
So how much of that 5,000
So, right, it
goes
would
to
be-
fees this year for the kids? How much of that 5,000 will pay?
It was, cause I think
And the
the
rest of it?
prorated for the bus was like 600 to 700. It got down to 600 to 700, so whatever the difference of that it would be,
Is what,
was what they're gonna cover with passes
$600 to $700?
for the bus. So
Oh,
the
okay.
difference of,
Yeah.
if you
So that's what I'm
subtract that from
wondering.
the 5,000, that's what's left for them to use towards
Right,
passes.
that's what I'm wondering.
We
Did
wound up
she-
with like $3,000 that we had figured.
Right, originally,
Originally.
yes,
So
it
She
was a
put
little over
$700
$3,000.
from that into the transportation account and then just be good, I mean, that's
Yes, that's
essentially
what we
you're
talked
doing,
about.
right?
Yeah, cause it'd be 2 invoices, and whatever the invoice for the
Right,
prorated bus cost would just be what goes in and out of transportation, and then the other one would just go in and out for the city and the
You
port.
don't have to itemize every damn thing, every trip that they make that way,
Yeah.
you just gotta.
So what, on this, we wanna add for the budget, are we adding 2,100 into grant proceeds? 2,100 just to have it built in?
I think that would be a close enough guesstimate of if we did it next year as we plan to do it this year, that it would be accounted for. Thanks.
Cause it wouldn't change.
Cause I think that'd be close enough to be enough, but not too much, and,
well, and we figured the gas price at $5 a gallon, we
right,
higher because.
we
gas
didn't know where it was gonna
changing,
go,
so-
and at that time, it was changing a lot.
Right.
Did you have any thoughts about raising fares or anything, increasing costs?
We probably should.
Cause we're at just a
It's
dollar.
$1 for a ride, it's like $75 to go to Rapid. We were working on those prices and then that's as far as we got because we knew it had to be voted on and
Sure.
people are feeling pretty good pinch and it's like, do you, because it
Well, I
will,
think you have to, because fuel
Well-
prices have skyrocketed.
you have to, but at the same time, if you increase them too much, you won't have riders because our riders.
And we
are-
do
a lot
have
of them are
substantial
on the-
numbers still, I mean,
Yeah,
we still have
they're on
really
fixed income and-
large numbers of travelers, so we're still doing fairly decent. The only thing that would be challenging too, so do many people buy like a pass or give you a check worth so much, they don't pay
Yes,
per time,
and
so then
especially-
like, you don't have to worry about change or
especially
quarters or
in
stuff like
some-
that.
In the summer, I mean, in the
School
school
year.
year, we have a lot, I've got a book that's got.
So if we were to change it to
tickets.
like $1.25 or something like that, it wouldn't be horribly inconvenient for you to have change rolling around in the bus or something along those lines, like it wouldn't.
I don't give change.
Okay.
That was one thing Cindy was adamant about, she's like, we don't carry change on.
So that makes it easy then. Okay. Well, I mean,
So
we
what's
have a difference of, what, 11, 12?
And when we talked about knowing we had a shortfall, we talked about different kinds of fundraisers, which is what I added
Yeah.
towards the back there, those are ideas. And the last page was a letter I can send out to different corporations if you allow it, asking for donations for raffles or drawings or things like that, some kind of prizes. And that helps increase people's want. I mean, we do pretty well when we do just the bus, appreciate the bus week. We give out one child pass and one adult pass, which is 11 rides. And people get really excited when they win them,
Yeah.
so.
Well, with it only being,
Fundraisers are a great idea.
and yeah, she's been on board for that.
I don't know if we could put a Walmart sticker on the bus if they.
Start advertising.
If they donated enough, but I mean,
TVs are cheap, maybe we run multiple ads, just have the TV screen in the back window.
A lot of buses, don't kid yourself, in
I know they
Chicago,
do, they do.
LA and the rest of them, that's how they subsidize is by advertising, whether it be a billboard or, but our bus is not nearly exactly.
You could put it inside, and they just
Or-
look at the advertisements when they ride.
Yeah,
Or-
we'll put it on.
Or digital, you could make a digital, get a digital, but there again, it's a cost.
It's a cost,
As I say, a small TV or even a big TV
but
like that.
somebody can make little decals and we can stick them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the
Is that-
suggestions that I had was a name the bus.
That would be fun.
You know,
And you could
people
put a
name
name.
the snowplow,
Right.
name the boat, name
No,
the.
that would be fun,
Name the
especially
boat.
where we get so many kids that ride that bus. That'd be fun.
And
Is
it'd
it-
probably be better than Jinx, Minnie, and Bertha.
I don't know, those are pretty good.
But you know, going back to your advertising, you could get those magnetic ones and have, that's what, you know, what you think about it, the sale barn
Right.
in a way. And you could do it yearly, or you could do it every 6
So they
months.
renew
Well, I
them.
was gonna say,
And
every
they,
6
you have
months
to
would be
renew
okay,
them,
or-
and you can make a fairly decent sized placard where they could see it. I don't
And
know
those,
what the
those
cost
magnets
would
aren't
be.
too bad.
Those magnets are interchangeable. And, you know, run them for 6 months and then
Right.
go back, or a year.
Under the state and federal program, are we allowed to?
Yeah, that's another good thing
That's
to
what we-
ask,
yeah,
so we'll
I
need
would
to
have
check
to
that to
ask
see if
and
that's
see
an
what that-
option.
what that option.
Well, do we wanna consider a difference in fare? To, just to cover that gap that we have, that's 12,000 that would come out of the city's pocket, cause it's not like we have extra to come out of our pocket.
Right.
I would probably go $2.
You'd be comfortable with it, I mean, or would it be reasonable enough to just make it 150? I mean, what would be the difference, what would we see in a difference? Do we have a way to
Change.
calculate how many fares we get annually?
I think it's better to keep it whole numbers.
Probably.
That's why I said two, just
Two.
because it's a little easier for my people to keep track of.
Okay,
So,
But you're gonna double your rate overnight.
yeah, that's the only thing I worry
Yeah.
about,
How's
that's
that
the
gonna
problem.
look?
right?
Well,
Well,
But
people-
it is a lot
I
cheaper
can-
than having your own vehicle and
I
paying
can
for
talk to
gas
some
and
of
insurance.
I can talk to some of my regular riders and see what they would, how they would handle that. I
Well,
mean,
maybe
they're,
that's something
they're
that
the
we-
best ones to,
Consider before our final with this
You
one.
have to adjust the rates, but in trucking, we've only adjusted 35%.
well, and if we have to go like $1.25 or $1.50, that is fine. But like I said, I can talk to some of my regulars and see what their thoughts on that would be.
so what do you think for your rapid trip?
$100.
Yeah.
100?
Yeah, I thought
That's fair.
Especially
What do you
considering
charge to go to Scottsbluff, or is that the same?
60,
So we could make that the 75 then.
75.
right.
And Shatter, what does it take to go to
Shatner's
Shatter?
25, I was thinking 30.
30, 35, yeah.
that's cheap.
That's
It
How
not
many
bad.
people do you take up there every time? To Rapid?
Monday, I have 2 different individuals that have doctor's appointments that were scheduled before Cindy ever quit. Their appointments at 1 and then at 2.
So you're running $2 a mile roughly.
You know, it is how it goes. She had hoped to get, when we got the new bus, to be able to take people up to Rapid maybe once a month. And then you could get 4 or 5 different
they could-
individuals.
They could make it regular enough where they could start scheduling them
Right.
on the same day to
Right.
make that happen, yeah.
So, cause she was taking a trip over to Chadron about every other week, and she had 5, 6, sometimes she only had 3, but most of the time it was quite a bit.
Number.
Do you know what the cost is to operate that? Is it gonna pencil it out? What your payments are on the,
Per mile?
per mile? I mean, where we at? I mean,
I honestly do not.
I'll come in and help you someday figure that out.
That
You
would
know
be
the payments
wonderful.
are, it would be that hard to figure out,
That would be wonderful.
kind of figure that out.
I said they ask a lot of things on the state side, but I don't think they've ever concerned themselves with it broken down in that direction.
They don't,
Well,
they
no.
don't.
So we keep
Let
track
me
of
ask
everything they
this
want us to
question.
keep track of.
When was the last time rates have changed? Not since I've been on here.
We changed it
to go up to
2 or 3
1,
years
it's
ago.
1 now.
Up to
Yeah,
1,
yeah.
cause it,
When
It was like 50 cents a pop or something.
Yeah, it was-
For quite a while.
yeah, I think we changed it like a handful, like, you know, I feel like I was on when we
Well,
changed it to $1. I would say
know,
2 to 3 years
but
ago.
my son was riding, I was paying for my church kids to ride. That was.
Was it
Rob
after
Roy
we
was
purchased
working.
this one?
It wasn't when you were,
It was.
it was when you were,
Yeah,
okay, so it was before that then, maybe it was just
So-
that year when I was coming to meetings.
So my point would be, we've had minimum wage increase.
Right, we've had a
Right.
lot, yes, that would be a good.
We've got the inflation, we've now
Fuel.
got fuel prices that have gone up, I mean, I
It
don't know
makes
that we.
sense for it to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Depend
how
on
much it
mileage.
goes
How much,
up.
yeah,
How
I
much
think
a
that
year?
would be appropriate
How
to
much
figure out
per
how
year?
much, yeah.
And we normally have the hearing, which you have to have to increase rates or change area of service to coincide with the grant thing, but we can do that anytime, right?
Right.
Okay.
So we could do that starting, we could process the rate change this year and then start the hearing and all that in place this year so that it can start different at the start of our, year 1, or day 1 of next year. So October 1, so we could start that process under this year's
Right.
meetings.
Now, I think we have to go with these numbers, cause it's what's gonna hit through the city.
Right.
But am I reading this agreement change right to say,
That was just the last one that I found,
oh, okay,
just so everybody kinda knew what that
cause
was.
that reduces it, but it's still a local match of 11,266, so. But if that's because they think our expenses are gonna be way down,
No, they
you
just,
know.
they got cut really hard.
But this is really more appropriate to last year, you think? Okay.
Cause last year they cut us in the middle of the year,
They did,
So this is 1,000 less
and
than
that's
what
why
you're
it's
asking
different than,
for.
right.
Right, she put in a buffer.
Okay,
But this is based on a whole lot smaller budget,
for sure, I see that.
so I think these numbers are stated though.
Yeah.
Because this is what we have to have spending authority to spend.
I think we're,
Well,
Yeah.
and that is, Sarah sent that to me and she said that is what she sent to April,
yes,
and that was when they had to cut everything, it was approved that way,
Right.
so,
cause that was, I mean, we kinda had to almost twofold back in the middle of the season,
yes.
because they had their own cuts, and we
Yes.
had to change everything.
Well, and just like our conversation with the library last week, this is how you affect
Right,
transportation. Instead of taking money away, you
we have to
increase
charge
the-
more, correct, I would agree with that.
So you made you got fees and charges of 15,000, is that, now that's current budget? Is that what you had projected for this last year, was 15?
Where are we looking?
Your fees and charges for your revenue. On page 1, is that what you figured that you'd have generated in fees? Page 1, your fees and 4011. And we've only expended 5101 of that, if I'm reading this right.
I think that's fees she pays though, would that be,
Well,
It says revenue, it's
Yeah,
in the
oh,
revenue.
but revenue, oh, see, I'm sorry, yeah, now that.
I wonder if we thought that should have come into grant.
Was that the grant you were thinking of?
And see, the grant's got 15,580.
Yeah, so this is
I don't know what that 15,000 being dues and fees and charges for.
So,
Last year.
I'm sorry,
No.
no,
Well, and I
Go ahead and
apologize
finish.
for my lack of knowledge, I did not do this, this
Right.
was,
For sure,
Right.
for
Cindy
sure.
did it, and I,
No, that's
Sure.
okay.
I'm just, do you have any idea what you generated for revenue for the bus this last year? Do you have any clue?
not offhand.
Well,
So far, year to date, it's been 51.
I would
Six-
say she should
51.
have,
Yeah.
that's what we've made in
This
fees.
is year to date,
That's what you
and that's what we
generated.
budgeted. Okay.
Well, I mean, you double that for $2, that's gonna cover
Exactly.
10,000
So
instead of
that's-
5, so that's.
That's what I'm looking at right
Right, so that's an extra $5,000, I mean, it doesn't cover the full amount, but
there.
it's half,
If we
No, but it
don't
does
lose,
help.
right,
if we don't lose,
additional funding.
well,
so what do you, if somebody just has you pick up their Walmart order, what do you charge for that?
if I'm just going over to get their Walmart order, it's $25 to go get it,
Right.
Whether they're on the bus or not.
right,
But if you're already going over there, then, if you already got other people riding, you're gonna be.
It would be
able-
per, yep, so it'd be more
It's-
profit.
It's still gonna be $30 if we go with the, okay.
So you'd make it per rider, $30 per rider.
That's
So if
what
you
I
only
would
have
do.
2 riders, it's a $60 trip. If you've got 10 riders, then it's a,
but that's what I would do, it's not been that way, it's been, you take 5, you divide the 20 by the 5, and each person pays in this much.
oh,
because
no, I
it's-
would say it's,
and
that's what
I
it costs everyone.
Personally, I would start charging,
Yes.
I think it's
Per.
to participate, so it
Yeah.
needs to be that charge per person. Whether, it doesn't matter how many are on the bus.
there again, how many do you usually take? What's the average? 4 people,
4 or 5,
4 or 5?
So that's a big
$100.
difference.
Well, but it
$25.
might decrease if they each have to pay $30.
Correct,
It could.
right, which is for your,
right.
now for a couple to go to Rapid, like, if these people that are going on Monday, they are a married couple, so I don't feel correct in charging them each.
Good point.
The
Per family,
75.
yeah.
So you
But
could
if
do a
it was-
household thing.
Yeah. you could do a
Yeah.
house.
Cause you're only making one stop,
Right,
so it's per stop.
right.
You could do
Yes.
per household, per
Yeah.
stop.
Now, if it's Jill and Jack and Annie and they're
3
not
separate
related
stops,
to each other.
3
then
separate
it's-
households.
Well,
Right,
this is Crawford, we're all related.
If you live in a different household,
if you're
your
not living
cousin
in the
has to
same
pay
house.
differently.
Thank you, Vader. My
Okay.
phone's creepily correct with that kind of stuff.
Well, that would certainly help, if that's where we're getting
And if you
Where we're
have
pulling
more
from.
fees and charges than budgeted,
Mhm.
those apply to our local match? Or how do they determine what our local match should be, do you know?
As long as that doesn't work against us, yeah.
Do they make you turn in mileage?
Yes,
Yes,
that's
So you
part of
keep-
that new tracking system that we
and
have
that
to
is part of,
implement.
yeah,
We will be buying iPads where it's almost like a taxi service where you'll indicate
Yeah.
where you're at in GPS, you pick somebody up and then they'll know where you travel to and that you drop them
because
off.
further on down the state, somebody was taking terrible advantage of that.
Bigger facilities.
So
And that's what I'm
they,
wondering on these long trips, you know, and that wouldn't work for local, but on these long trips, you just charge by the mile.
We could consider that.
Mhm.
But the state has also got on Cindy for getting the oil changed too often.
Yeah, they were telling her she was getting it changed too often. She does it every 6 months. That's when we do it. We do it every 6 months.
That's too often. How many miles do you put on in a year? That's
Depends on where
crazy.
I'm going.
We
Yeah.
figure
They have a whole
8,000
maintenance
miles for a
Mhm.
truck.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Get
but
an
these
oil
are all
change.
gasoline engines, they should be 3
3,000,
months or 3,000 miles.
That is nuts.
But yes, they,
I think I'd tell them,
she did.
stiff it.
She did.
Well,
She
that could
said,
be our
"Hey,
local match coverage
well,
then, yeah.
and she said,
Preventive maintenance, that's
Right.
stupid, oil
we
breaks
do it
down.
in-house. We don't take it to somebody to change it.
Right.
So there isn't that cost, it's just the cost of the filter and the
Supply.
oil.
I'd almost, on these long hauls, if you're going out of town, even to Shattered, I'd almost think that you'd come out better if we charged by the mile, we'd be able to give them a better benefit, I think, but I'd have to look at it and see. We could do a flat rate, but it's what, 23 miles, 24 miles over there,
Mhm.
you know,
26.
okay, let's just round it up to 30 by the time you travel around town,
Mhm.
you know, that's $15 a trip at 50 cents a mile. And I know it's gonna cost you more than that, I mean, your wages are gonna cost more than that, your wages are gonna run you probably close to 52. But there again, okay, so you're doing it one person, you start adding on. I'll try and figure that
I
out.
think that's
We
the
should
right
figure out-
direction to go.
we
We'll
should
just have to
figure
be mindful of if it's more than 35% difference, we might have to do this over a couple of years as opposed to shocking them all in 1 year.
Right,
So maybe we move towards that direction at a 45% rate difference this year. And then next year, we know we still need to make up so much difference or
Yeah.
in a couple of years. So that way we start catching up to where we need to be
Yeah.
without it being such a sticker shock.
right.
Cause we, like you said, a lot of the people that ride because they are low income and they do have the greater need. You know, whether it be their age
Yeah,
or their
her trips
capability or
over-
whatever it may
Her
be.
trips over to Shattered were mostly to Safeway and Walmart with the older
Mhm.
individuals. Well, I should,
But in the long run of things, it would still be cheaper, even at a greater rate, to pay you to go to the bus than it would be to pay to maintain a personal vehicle, the
Right.
maintenance and fuel on a personal vehicle, the insurance on a personal vehicle,
Right.
all of that stuff, keeping up their driver's license, all that good stuff. So in the long run of things, it would still be cheaper, but we need to increase it enough that we can keep the program and be able to afford it on our own. So
But what I don't like is the group rates, because we still have to pay her
the same,
wages.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Brian, with mileage,
But that'd be per
but,
person.
but that's gotta be, you gotta take into account how many hours is she spending over in Shadron, or, you know, we gotta figure all that in, cause it's not just the mileage on the vehicle.
well, and maybe part of what we do is come up with, like I said, a first step to this year that helps us split that difference. And with this new system, I mean, you guys are gonna start training on it within the next month. We're gonna have pretty accurate
Better-
details,
better
a
Right.
lot more details on how many miles are expended, how long it takes, what the average are, and then from those, next year you could do
We can
more of
adjust
a
it.
dialed in
right.
rate connected to those,
That's
cause we
true.
would have the information to fill that
So
data.
you think
And whereas we don't have that at this time.
you
Is
think
it-
go to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
You started first, go ahead.
$2 you think you think would be,
I think that's fair and I think that would be doable for
would they take,
individuals.
yeah, that's where I'm at, would they,
Right. I do think that will, I've got a couple that are gonna yell, but they yell whatever the price is,
You're gonna
because they
double their
feel it
cost,
should be
yeah.
free.
And that's why I don't know how many you're gonna lose for that, is what I'm getting at, is it
I
worth that?
don't
So
know
you-
that
You'll
I
have to keep
will.
track, okay.
But that's why I said I would like to ask a few of my regulars
Yeah.
To see.
and see what
Okay.
their thoughts on it.
Well, I think that's an
I-
excellent way to
Yes,
pencil
I
this
do
in
too.
for what we wanna figure before our final meeting. We've kinda left the library with the same,
Yeah.
we'd like to go that direction, please pencil that in and make those adjustments or make that happen. I think that's a realistic thing
I
to
do
leave
too.
in limbo
Yeah.
after
I
the
think so.
transportation. Do we have anything else we wanna consider?
Well, I have one more question.
You bet.
So, if you're going to Shabron,
Mhm.
okay, cause that's been the,
Most frequent,
Yeah.
sure.
That is, yeah, that is.
so is there a time frame, or can, 8 people just book the bus for the whole day for $5?
Breakfast,
or
lunch,
for-
and dinner.
Yeah, for $5 a piece, or whatever it
It
comes out to.
was, she would leave here at 8:30, cause she'd have to take school kids.
Uh-huh.
She'd leave here at 8:30 and she'd be back by 3. That gives them the opportunity to eat a meal, gives them the opportunity to stop at a couple of stores and get what they've gotta get, cause these are, one of them is Barb Ferguson, she
Mhm.
cannot see. So it takes time for her to go
Navigate.
shopping and look at stuff.
Well, I was
You
just
know?
curious whether, yeah, we're just gonna make a day out of it in Shabron, we're gonna go grocery shopping, we're gonna go see a movie, we're gonna go
Yeah.
get our toenails done, all this stuff.
You know,
And if she's only, charging $25 divided by however many people go, that's not paying anything.
right, which is why I believe it should be per.
Yeah.
per
Welcome to
person.
trucking 101.
Unless it's
Mhm.
very.
Drivers-
Oh, I know.
Your drivers don't get paid any wages for sitting layover, it just doesn't, it's not part of it. It's all incurred into your cost of driving your miles. So, but I do think going to $2 is, I do think that's, and
That sounds good.
$100 for
Realistic.
Rapid, 75 for
Scottsville.
Scotts Bluff, and then what are you gonna be at going to Shatner, 30?
30, 35.
35. And
Now,
let's see.
now,
the numbers.
did she, so that policy of $25 divided by however many people are on the bus, is that still in effect right now?
I have not been able to take a busload of people over, because I am not supposed to leave Crawford unattended for that long.
Okay.
I have taken people over for doctor's appointments, but that is it, and I tell them, we gotta go right after your doctor's appointment, we can't.
So now that we've just completed interviews and we've got a recommendation for our next council meeting, after that part-time employee is hired, then it frees her up to be able to do that without leaving an empty
Right.
post or an unattended
Right.
post. So then,
Okay.
so that's kind of what is limiting that at this time, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So we're on our way, I mean, we've got our part done, we're just waiting for the next meeting.
Well, I think with some of the stuff that we've talked about, and it sounds like Tony is on board of charging everybody
Yeah.
that, I mean, we're gonna make up,
That'll go fast,
A
it'll
lot
make
of-
up
a lot of
probably the
this
full 10 or
deficit
11,
anyway.
yeah.
And I would look into to some of the ideas you have for your revenue. I do like the placard idea, I think that's legit.
And that would be, it wouldn't be near as time consuming as some of the ideas, you got great ideas and maybe we
Well,
need to
no,
steal them
no,
for other
we
departments,
can-
but.
we can use some advertising.
But yeah, that would be
Like,
really nice
You
and
can
not
have
overwhelming.
Shatner and Harrison and what other
Sure.
communities that, so I
That'd be
think that's an awesome idea.
So we'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
perfect.
I have to
Alright.
figure
Your,
out
but
first of all,
your stair stepping is to like do these prices this year, and then you're thinking of maybe make it per person next year, or you wanna get that
We're
in
gonna
this year.
make it per person this year.
Make it per person this year.
Yeah,
I think that'd be appropriate,
House-
cause I think that was originally the
Per
intention, it was
household,
just,
is that?
yeah,
per household.
that's probably
That's better.
per
That's
household
better.
or per household slash
Because-
stop, because if it's, you're stopping once and it's everybody who gets on the bus at that stop, that would be fair for that to be one charge.
Right.
I mean, if you got
Thanks.
a mother and 2
And I
kids, that would be
believe-
fair for that to be one
I
charge.
believe it was a case of the 25, an example with the over to Shatner, $25 filled the tank. So it was back and forth, so that's
Gotcha.
what we were paying for, that's what she was paying for was,
That was the idea at the time.
yes,
Sure.
yes. But with the gas prices changing as drastic as,
Well, and
They
then
have.
to consider wages and everything else, then,
Right.
yeah. Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
I mean, it's kind of, the bus system's kind of like the pool, right?
Right.
It's never gonna pay its way, but we have to minimize the
Hit.
well, and
hit on the
it's
city.
a service,
Yes.
You don't want
The
it to
city
go away.
service.
Yes. Yes. No, I think that all sounds good. Any other final notes, or would we like to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
All right, Tanita, thank you so much for all of the time, information shared, and answers.
A whole lot of knowledge, so.
You did great, we appreciate it.
You want me to lock the front door, Jane?
No, I can get it.
Okay. Alright.
Somebody might come scratching.
Please.
And you know the cost of this now. Let's have a copy.
Police next, yeah, let's do police for them.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, you went garbage? No, you're good, you can do police. Yeah, as far as police, we've got that contract, and that contract is for how long? It wasn't
Well,
a
it started
year to year, it was for how long?
5 and 4 years.
It's 4 years?
Yeah. Now, I did email Jeff Johns and ask, so that he knew we were meeting tonight. He did indicate in that email, let me just read it so that I'm not misquoting anything. Or maybe it was an email, maybe it's a text message. I got a response, maybe a written response, let me put it that way. Okay, he wrote back, got the budget, here is a copy of the one I used, went up a little with cost of living increases. That is what he is budgeting for the county. I will just come out and say it, I completely disagree. What we have for a 4-year contract is all built into what it needs to be for all 4 years,
You got a
and
signed,
that does not change.
you got a signed contract.
It does not change for us, so if he wants to change how he uses those funds once he gets them, that's fine with me, and if he wants to move what he has for available funds to cover whatever he needs to cover, we discussed that at multiple meetings with him, that's fine. But I do not believe that we need to change how much we overpay him as it already is. I will even include that part.
Is there anything in that contract, Jane, that has cost of living increases
I
or?
don't think it has anything that is
I don't
variable.
remember that being in there,
I don't think
but
there's variables in that, cause we were really specific on wanting to make it kinda locked down. It was locked down to the point where we wrote it and we wanted it to kinda say, from my memory, say in general, this is the amount for 4 years, and you use it how you need to in order to serve us in the way that we need service. Period.
Yep, I agree. Is there
And I,
anything in there-
again, I don't care, or I can't say I don't care, I do care, but however he uses those funds to be able to serve our community in the ways that we need to have to provide that service of that department, I find that all 100% fair. However he needs to use them, that's fine, as long as we agree on the total amount.
Is
But
there anywhere in there that says how many hours he's gonna be on the street instead of parked in the
No.
building?
no, we went rounds with that and we couldn't get to that.
We just did a schedule today,
We did.
and it's not the thing, it's an actual schedule.
We also have in that contract that we're supposed to be meeting quarterly, but the city does not hear from Jeff. If we don't make the appointment, it doesn't happen. And Chris and I have tried to meet, we didn't get our November meeting done until what, January? The end of January, maybe even February, just cause it was, and that's the holiday time, so I'll be a little forgiving to that. And that's hard for everybody to get on board, and I think we had to reschedule 4 or 5 times. But since then, just Chris and I trying to figure out when we can meet with him, just to even start reaching out. and he hasn't reached out once. And it's supposed to be a quarterly meeting, cause we've got plenty to talk about. Plenty.
It does say,
I'm like you, I think we overpay him, but it's contracted, it's signed, sealed and delivered, and that's what it is.
Now, I'm sure if he felt necessary or we felt necessary, I believe that's written in there that if we wanted to renegotiate, we could. I'm sure it says that, you know, what the terms are of providing notice in there if we would like to make those changes.
right here,
But we still are supposed to be able to meet quarterly to discuss what should be being done and what isn't being done, or what we don't feel is being taken care of,
Is it in that
or what
contract?
they feel like they're not getting from us. I mean, it goes both
If
ways.
they're not upholding their end of the contract, then there's reasons for termination, is that in there? Or is that just for,
It's in there, but whereas we don't have any of those specific stipulations in the contract, that is probably gonna be harder to uphold.
Okay.
But there are certain things as a class 2 city that we're required to provide to our community that are fairly straightforward, that are included to be covered as this contract. And that shouldn't need to be in the contract, that should be understood as you are covering that service at that degree.
it does say right here, the sheriff and one representative from the city and one representative from the county shall meet not less than quarterly in the months of January, April, August, and November.
and you haven't had a meeting since when?
We've had one since we started that contract, and it was in January. It was supposed to be the November
So it
meeting.
was the April, oh, that was supposed to be in February.
So yes,
So only because they haven't taken the initiative, or they refuse?
we've
when we
heard
take
no
it?
initiative from their side. We've spoke many times about, we need to make the initiative. When can you meet? Okay, that doesn't work for us. Okay, when can we meet next? And, you know, as no excuse on our own, we've been really busy on this hand. And when we don't hear back from them, well, not that we reached out, but when we're not hearing anything from them either, it easily gets bypassed.
So, I wasn't able to be at that meeting in January, was, one of the
It was
commissioners
only,
here?
no, it was only Jeff and I and Adam.
Okay, so, well, technically, Adam could be that county official,
Sure.
it's not,
It was very cooperative. It was very like-minded. It was very open-minded. It felt like I could make suggestions. It felt like those suggestions were being welcomed. I left that meeting feeling more hopeful. Do not feel the same today.
How long is left on our contract with them?
3 years.
And so it says right here that, $216,200 each year. The payments will be made at $18,016.67 monthly.
This
And
is
we have to provide them a headquarters.
the building. This is the highest contract we have, correct? This is higher than the fire department.
Yes.
Well, fire doesn't have employees, so.
No, but it
obviously-
is, but they have higher needs. I mean, everything that they pay for is a lot more expensive than what comes out of the
Yeah,
sheriff's department.
apples and oranges.
Correct, but as far as our contracts, this is the most expensive contract the city has.
I don't feel that we're getting the service that we're paying for, honest to God, truth, I think everybody here agrees. I would like to, I don't know how either we gotta pay them less for what we're getting, or I don't know how to figure it out.
I know
really
part
don't.
of the
I just-
discussion that we had when we
really
were trying to
disappointed.
negotiate that contract and the discussion I had with Jeff the last time we met was, concern over his hiring and who he had for available hires and keeping a full staff. I know that was fairly concerning for him. And we tried to be very cooperative with that. We said, I know originally when Crawford went from having its own police department to first time using the sheriff's office. That was part of the original contract, was they were to send the same 3 guys every single time, so that way our community was familiar with them. Well, we're all very familiar with everybody that's on the sheriff's office. We told him it didn't have to be the same 3 guys, he could use any of the 6 that was on staff, and that would be just fine. And we felt that that was a fair suggestion from our behalf in order to be more cooperative with staffing. He is still, as I understand it, 1 deputy down. And I don't know, I have not heard an update on that process, but it's my understanding he's still 1 deputy down. And that is a common problem with his office, the Shattuck office,
I understand
surrounding
employees
counties, sure,
all
get
too
it.
well,
But we still have standards we have to meet. He has those same standards he needs to meet for the county that he has to meet for us. So it shouldn't be that big of an ask to
When
be
he has-
consistent between the 2.
when he has his employees come into town and they park their butt in a chair all day at the city office, I hardly ever see him driving around, hardly ever. So I don't know, I mean, we've had several complaints from city personnel that the stuff isn't getting addressed. I've got people that are speeding through stop signs, you got people that are speeding downtown, we've got people that are hot rodding. I don't know, I'm really, really disappointed in the service that is provided. And I really think that if this is what we're gonna be at, and he wants to do it, and he's gonna be limited to what number of people he's got, then we should limit it to tell him that, you have to provide us. There's no hourly, there was no time, there's no,
So I
how many
believe
days, or,
it might be on that page there towards the bottom, that there has to be 3 dedicated deputies to Crawford.
3
Yeah.
additional
Right.
deputies shall be stationed.
And they are to do Crawford work only when they're.
Yeah, when they're on Crawford time, they need to only be doing, and I think that is a real struggle. But I would even be willing to go so far as to say, okay, you only have 5 guys, and you can only give us 2 to 2.5 coverage, then I would like to prorate our contract to reflect that.
Yeah.
And I
There
think
you
that
go.
would be mighty fair.
There
And I
you
think
go.
that would be a much more appropriate ask.
Well, then that's a discussion that we need to have as a council with our attorney.
And I would like that to be something that should be fairly considered, because I don't believe it is fair for us to, on both sides, not only not get the coverage we need when they are here, but 2, if he cannot fill that position, but that's a position that we're supposed to have, whether he wants to say it's his position he's missing, or it's the position on the Crawford side that he's missing, I guess he'd need to decide that. Because if he's willing to go down 1, then they should be able to cover us and do the things that they ask. But if that's something that he absolutely needs the guys to be on his side, and we need to take that loss for that personnel being down, then I think it would be only appropriate and fair to prorate our services at that time. Now, if he gets another one hired, and we need to then go back up to the full contract amount, I think that would be appropriate too, and maybe we can prorate that quarterly or however that may be. But I do think it would be something fair for us to request, or even,
Well,
then talk to Adam about.
We also need to insist on our quarterly meeting, and we need to insist that our commissioner
Yes,
is present at that meeting.
I think too, we schedule those meetings annually, and they're on the books to begin with, and we plan around them, not as available, because it's too hard to as available.
Right.
So I would like, I've been trying to, I guess, postpone trying to meet this last time in order to kind of have the opportunity to have that conversation with you guys of what we want to attempt next, because from my perspective at this point, I feel like we've tried just about everything we can from our perspective, and we're really still not feeling like we're getting what we're paying for.
We've
I
got
got
one,
something else that I'm working on, but I'm not ready to
Sure.
announce it to the
we've
world
got
yet,
one
so-
clause here that might be our crux, and then
good.
the sheriff of Dawes County, Nebraska shall have the sole responsibility, power, and authority to establish the schedule of patrol and services being provided under this agreement. So,
That would cover a
technically-
prorated if we needed to, right? I mean, how you're reading that?
technically, we can't tell him how many hours he's gotta be here, when he's gotta be here, nothing else.
Correct, but we do have a certain level of police law enforcement that we have to
Agreed.
provide for the community. So as long as he's meeting that, then yes, that's what complicates
But
this.
that's what, exactly, so we need to get rid of this clause and replace it that, okay, you need to be 25% and we pay you 25% of the total budget.
Isn't that clause part of what is his elected official?
That I don't know, I'd have to
Description,
talk to
though.
Adam.
I
It'd have to be in
I think it's part of that too. And so
I
that
just-
might,
there. I
that
just-
also might cloud that part of the
I
contract.
could, oh, I'm
Can I
sorry,
see that?
Taffy.
You bet,
I'm sorry.
you bet. No, you're good.
I just think that,
We
I
have,
like the prorate idea, I really do. How do you prorate it? Just cause he's one down, so we prorate the third down?
that's the only
Well,
way I,
That's all your wages.
what we don't have in front of us
Well, but-
is the call logs.
Exactly, we
but
don't know how
they
many
won't
hours
send
of
those to
equipment.
us. They've said if we wanna see those, we can go down there and look at them ourselves, cause they don't need to send them to us. Now, we went rounds with them on that,
But
that
when
doesn't
Carl
feel,
was-
that doesn't feel fulfilling, cause when they send us these, well, I worked 8 hours this day, 8 hours that day, 8 hours that day. Yeah, I know, I saw your truck, that doesn't count, that doesn't tell me that you did what we're asking you to do. I don't feel those logs are worth their time and effort or the paper when they come across. And I don't, it's not my intention to be disrespectful about it, but it's wasted time. They could use that time to do even more for us as opposed to just, we don't need that
We're not
access.
supposed to need
That's
our
not
nurses
helpful.
enforced
I
or
would much
nothing.
rather see a weekly report of 3 domestic violence, 2 speed
You always
citations.
had that when Carl was, we had a schedule, what was.
That's
And
what's
the
published
deputy
in all
came
of the
by
local
every day to
publications.
City
Yeah.
Hall.
And that is public enough knowledge, that should be public enough knowledge that they can share with the city. Cause I know that's always been part of the argument is, well, we have to keep some of that secret and if you guys wanna see it, you can just come see it. Well, I don't care to know the nitty gritty details, I don't care who and when and
Right.
what and how.
Right.
I
Yeah,
wanna
I can
know
read
that
that
a
on
certain
Shatterhand.
level of protection has
Yeah,
happened.
how many hours
And
are
I
you
do,
spending over
and I
there
do
doing
think
what?
that if we had 3 ordinance violations served,
Yes.
6 speeding,
Yes.
6
Yes.
speeding pullovers, 1 citation, whatever it may be,
Out
however
moved
they.
off the road, whatever
Sure.
it is, you're in here
But just
doing
a general, doesn't have to be
Yeah.
who or where or what time or
100%.
Well,
what color.
I guess all
What
I gotta-
alphabet?
all I
Yeah,
gotta say
it's
about
up right
this
here, we're
is,
supposed to have call logs.
I'm getting complaints from citizens that
Same.
normally do not complain about anything.
I would have to agree with that, same.
And that causes me great concern.
And we've got some ordinances that we shouldn't have to ask them to follow up on. That's stuff that is as they see, they know that's an ordinance in our community and that's part of their direction.
Well, let's talk to Adam and see if that they have, to me, they've already violated the contract. So how nitty gritty can we get? Can we say, okay, this is null and void, you've had it 2 times, you've missed it twice?
I'd say we better get a commissioner involved.
And if not, it says right in there, we can renegotiate it at any
Yeah,
time.
we can turn.
That's
it.
true, we
So,
could, we have to serve
we
notice
can't-
to renegotiate.
We can't even entertain termination unless we have
Something else in
something
place,
else.
For sure.
which we don't have the
But
option
we
for that.
can renegotiate,
Fair, yes.
I think that's within our
Fair,
rights.
yes.
I think that's where we go with this.
So for now,
I suppose we budget like it is.
I think we
until-
budget exactly what the
Yes.
contract is
Yeah.
until we see
216,
what else, yes, that is correct,
I
there's that.
think we pursue.
form there.
Yeah, 216.
But I think that's the only way we make adjustments on that, I hate to be a stickler or push that, and I know that he needs every dime that he needs because he gets very restricted funds to do what he needs for his department, however, it is my responsibility for my community to make sure I'm doing my best to make sure that we are covered in what we pay for, and that is not what we're getting here.
Right.
And so
There we go.
I can't worry about his responsibilities, I need to worry about our responsibilities, and from my perspective and my seat, we are not doing that job. And I'd like to see different, so, but I think that's a good direction with it.
So a couple other things on
You
the
bet.
police budget.
Yep.
Any thoughts of rent change? I think they're both paying 300.
I don't think so, we don't have that building insured.
No.
I know you had left a message, and as an uninsured building, I don't think changes need to be made to the building for that reason.
That whole building's on it?
That whole building is not
It's
insured.
Same as
Does Rhonda
the,
know?
it's same as the,
Same
well,
as the library.
she
Or
should
not the library,
have
the museum.
her own renter's insurance.
Correct.
It's just that,
We better
just like,
notify her, make sure.
just
she
like
does.
the museum, if the roof gets hailed out, we have, actual cash value, policy on it, which is, I think on that one,
They pay us
it's
enough to
only
remove the building.
$50,000, so it's about $200, and that's to haul
Take
the
it
rubble
down.
off.
Yeah.
That's.
Well,
the
I'm just gonna tell you,
insurance.
when I talk to her, she is perfectly happy with the building she has. She says it's the other part that needs to come down. She loves her building, other than it's a water leak going inside. So she's perfectly happy. But, if
But
we're
that
not
doesn't-
carrying insurance on it, we need to inform her.
Well,
And
it's,
then-
there's insurance on, it's just, it's not
Right,
insurance,
it's
the building, it's, I mean, so it's,
It's, I understand what it's
goofy,
doing, but she needs to know that. And then if we're not putting any money into the back into it, she needs to understand that too, that if she's got any leaks or anything, she's gonna have to address them if they're bothering her, cause that's, we're, at this point, we're just ready to level the damn thing.
Correct.
So we need to have that conversation.
Well, we need to have that conversation with the museum board too.
and that was a,
I thought we had that conversation.
I
No,
did too,
I
but
think-
we had sent out a recent email that they'd contacted us, but we can't,
Yeah,
That's
I
not
see
for
that.
today.
Okay, yeah, okay. So,
agree.
Let's stay in.
So the
stay the
building,
same.
yep, I think for now we just keep it the same, cause
Yeah.
we need to, we're still trying to work on a plan of not having them in that building and somehow getting rid of that building on the city's
Yeah.
books, so I think it'd be fair to leave it at the same
So
for
this
now.
next fiscal year is anything to do with that?
One would hope so, but we haven't made any
Have we-
progress on
have we
making that
come up with
happen.
a cost to fix it, to
You just get
So-
more money in for selling it, right?
Right,
So I had asked Kevin in May to go ahead and get the doors that he needs for this remodel thing ordered, and I don't think that he even ordered those.
Do we have an estimate, what it's gonna cost to do this to their liking? You're talking about putting them in Jane's old office, is that
the
right?
first office
And then we have to have a storage facility for them,
downstairs.
and that's gonna be downstairs. So we're not changing
And
this
they
up
can
at
have
all.
a
So-
rear entry only if they
Is
want it.
the north room on the west big enough for their room?
Well,
And we would move our stuff out, that's already got a locked door on it.
Yeah, that could be helpful.
That's what we.
yeah, they were concerned that it's a hollow core door, and
But we could change out the
they were
door.
asking for a steel door with a steel frame,
What?
cause it's evidence,
It's
and,
evidence.
and
Oh, so it's.
even the
How much is that
attorney,
gonna be?
even the attorney will tell you that
That's
if we're gonna
important.
house it here, that it's gotta be a secure.
It
Do we
has to
have
be
to ask
chain
it?
of
Has to
custody.
be? Why, it's Dawes County evidence, why is it, their county sheriff?
Now,
You go to the vault, I mean, it could be
it,
temporary.
so if they do something on Crawford's clock, under Crawford's service, they would be a temporary location until they could move it and process it, is my understanding on that.
Okay.
But if it's Dawes County stuff, then it needs to go straight to the county. I would agree with that perspective.
The other question that we were gonna have with them is that maybe we could leave our stuff in that storage room down there, and just build a wall straight across from that door, and it'd be a small space, but I don't know how much room they actually need. I mean, it's downstairs, if they impound a car, it's not like they can put the car down there,
Yeah.
so.
So trying to project,
Impounded cars are done a little differently, but that wouldn't affect.
Well,
Go ahead, Amy, listen,
do you wanna,
you're listening.
I don't know, you wanna pretend we sell, just. to
Right,
have
just
it
a
in the
perspective,
budget
sure.
That we're gonna sell that
List it
building
and
bring
auction
in
it
so
off.
much,
Right.
and then balance it out with repairs.
It's not a bad idea.
The building,
Right.
because we'll either repair, either need to
They're
do stuff
probably
here.
fairly realistic numbers. I mean, if we get lucky and sell that building for 25,000, we easily spend 25,000 on remodeling this
Oh, yeah. That's where
to
I'm
make
at.
it a place where they can have it.
In
I don't think that's a
revenue-
terribly outrageous number as a whole.
So revenue, I guess we could just go
They're
there
asking.
like other or something.
It's the type of building too that we're not gonna have people falling over to bid on it
Well, for
either.
like-minded buildings, they're asking 38,000 for that lot in that blue building.
But we need to
across
make it an
the corner.
easy purchase too,
Yeah.
because it's got
That's what I'm
problems.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is I don't think that's overpriced,
Right,
25,000.
right.
So if we put 25,000 in other revenue
Yeah.
to sell the building.
Yep.
Should it happen.
And then
And
do
we'll
the update to
offset it
City Hall
with-
for a
Or
A move
we'll-
or-
well, we
transactional move.
Move.
we charge it to police fund. remodel here.
Right.
For police, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Repairs building, okay.
There you
I mean,
go.
I guess that's the,
25,000 there.
that's the thing about it, if we move them here, I don't know, we'll have to update our camera system, which needs to happen anyway.
True.
Um,
community building.
yes,
How much do you wanna spend remodeling here and then end up turning around and,
well,
What are you doing with the community building?
you don't know?
we, yeah,
Is that,
we'll
is
have
that
to,
building paid for? Is it being
Yes.
paid off?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So it's really not costing us anything. Other
It
than-
costs a surprising amount just to heat, cool, and maintain for utilities. It's higher than one would expect. And it's unfortunately higher than what it contributes to for revenue,
Generates.
and that's part of that problem. But yeah,
But I guess if we just focus on police for now.
when would we discuss that, Jane,
And then
under
we-
general?
Yeah.
That whole,
Another idea?
yeah,
probably, cause it would be city
Community
building.
building.
or community building?
Yeah, that would be a good one to do it under.
Okay.
It's just kind of a mess.
So do we wanna just leave the 7,200 for rent? I mean, if we sell it, we won't be getting the rent, but who knows?
Correct.
Just leave it in
Right.
there.
That way it's just,
Okay.
we've got an either or. It's probably a little more realistic.
Right, so the other things there, contract services, the rent. Okay.
And we all are aware that that 25 is not 25 that we have, it would just be,
Right.
it would be an in and out.
So insurance, it
Potential.
looks like, when all was said and done, it was about that 1734.19, so it's supposed to be the same, I guess.
I would assume it's gonna, the
Wait.
prorated part for the insurance for that building?
No, I think it's 200,
Okay.
cause I'm pretty sure we have, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
that's
that we
good.
have a $50,000, actual cash value.
Oh, yes, I think you're right on that.
So
So it would go down to 200.
we put 100 on the museum building, and that was, I don't know, he told me, or he told us roughly about $400 for the museum. So I'm just dividing that in half, cause we have half the coverage.
$200 for insurance, because we're doing that whole, just demolition and
Uh-huh.
that kind of thing.
So that would probably, cause that
That was
prorates out of the
16.
whole, that's probably realistic.
Okay. That's cheap. So on top of the 25,000 repairs to buildings, we had almost 2,400 this year, but that was the water heater, which shouldn't have to be repeated, and furnace repairs.
We also had that water leak, was that this last year, or the year before?
I think I heard something about the furnace.
We had some sort of
conditioner.
sewer issue at
Yes,
Rhonda's.
we had that
So I don't
too.
know how much
I don't
more
know
on
if that
top
was
of the
entirely-
25.
That's still not.
That's not
what she said.
100%. Well, that whole system needs to be all the way to the
That's what
street
she
replaced.
said. That's what
So it
she
was fixed
said.
enough to function, but not the entire place, like
Oh.
it needs to be wholly, but again, it's,
I think my
Not at this
water
time,
heater and furnace repair was last year. To
Oh,
explain
gotcha.
that big 7,000 number.
I think so.
So, I don't know how much on top of the 25,000, if we were to sell the building, how much do you think we should have for?
I think the way the perspective that we look at it, we're not, I mean, it's only kind of emergency items like the same, so I would probably do something very similar in the sense that it'd have to be something along those lines of
5,000 or
emergency
something?
repair.
I mean,
One
if
of-
there's water, sewer, electric, gas, furnace, heat,
Something that's,
We're either,
you're gonna have to do that.
we gotta move them, the sheriffs out of there so we can get rid of that building, one way or another.
ASAP.
Whether it's here, or, whatever works, that's what's gotta be
So is
done.
1,000 now? I don't know.
What do we have it at for this current year?
Well, it's at 2377 now, it's what we've spent. We budgeted 300, that's just usually
Oh, we
for your-
budgeted
your
300.
usual leaky sink or
Right.
toilet, and that's usually in, because it's also includes,
It'd probably be more appropriate, we're saving technically 1,500 on insurance, I'd throw that 1,500 on repairs, cause that place is in rough enough shape that the things that are gonna be emergency are probably gonna cost a little more than 300. I think realistically 1,500 might, hopefully we don't have to pay more than that for an emergency situation.
Not much in supplies, probably a toilet flusher or something like that is what they do. I do have a history report. though. No
what that $60 was. Postage, a filter, and bulbs, fluorescent bulbs. I don't know, $100 or something.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
And then utilities, looks like we're probably pretty good. I didn't figure it out, but we're at 3287, we budgeted 4123, we only got 2 more months to go,
We're almost spot on then.
I would say.
45 again?
It's like we budgeted 4123, it must have been.
Oh,
Make
gotcha.
the budget come out to me, the numbers.
Right, probably. It probably needs to be closer to 45, because that's really what we spent the last 2 years is 45.
Oh, yeah.
So 45 would be more accurate.
Property taxes didn't get budgeted in this year, but it looks like, we have to pay taxes on the railroad and Rhonda's share.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 500. 477 is 471, that was 555 the year before that.
Taxes went through the roof this year, so right closer to 25.
Just give me 25,000.
Yeah.
We are at the level just above uninhabitable, so we can't get any checked into that before.
Just put 500 in
Okay.
That's probably realistic.
So we're not, we get right.
Ta-da! Alright, we can move on to garbage, please. And garbage is probably gonna be even more dialed in than police with not
So I gave
a lot of
Jane
changes.
what we budgeted, what Swan budgeted.
Fees and whatnot.
And we were at 8% of our budget, and but Crawford was at 10%, so she increased it. Looks like even 200. Just to-
We were. Yeah, I remember Jody mentioning something to Jade. She had to call in about something. And they're gonna start doing the ready to serve on garbage. And so it's gonna mean a lot more revenue, a lot more.
Snowbirds.
So we upped it for that reason. And he had thought that there wasn't anything to worry about on this.
It's crazy to me, in 2 years, that's down to double.
So, and it's money in and money out.
Yeah,
So we just wanna
understand
be
that.
sure we get it
Yeah.
covered in case something happens and they have to raise rates or
That's
something.
crazy.
What's really interesting is when we went from the previous subcontractor to them, they were asking for more than that.
Well,
Oh, yeah, I
So,
remember it was the.
you gotta-
Going to
Yeah.
Swan was cheaper, and then what Swan has run into in the last few years is just naturally
you also have
expanding due
to
to their
remember
own
that
increases.
2 years ago, Swan was just a partial year.
Yes, that too.
Oh,
So that's another reason why that looks
yeah,
goofy.
because when Jerry passed away, or when,
Yeah, because it was a prorated
What's
year,
his
because they
name?
jumped
Yeah.
in, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, talked to Jody a little bit about it. The fees and charges at $84. Not really sure why it showed up there, but that shouldn't happen again,
Okay.
0. And then interest income, you don't really wanna, we don't normally budget for that, cause it's not like you're planning on spending it.
Right.
So, the only number you got is the in and out, and I think Swan was their own advertising.
Yes,
And then there was the repairs to systems. That, as you recall, last year, we were gonna use, Garbage's CD to pay for the community building parking lot, because it was,
they had
kind of believed that
cracked it
the
over
garbage truck is what's tore that up.
the
around.
path,
Mhm.
yes. That can
So-
probably be just moved forward, because we
I
never
don't
got
know
to
if
it.
you think that's.
If we wanted to.
I do have the
It's
investments
probably not
with
enough
me.
now, but.
Garbage has, well,
Garbage.
garbage has 15,000 in the CD. So if you felt like you wanted it, is that gonna redo parking lot?
Probably not.
At the community building,
We could include somebody to.
donate labor and we'll pay supplies.
Something like that. But we could make it 15 if you want.
As it just in case it's
15 for
used.
parking lot, and then
So-
we made 15,000 coming in from the CD, which we could put that in that last revenue item, even though it won't show up there.
So just as a reminder,
It's a placeholder.
since we're on garbage, so if we needed a CD box, we do have to pay for that.
CD.
Construction debris,
Oh,
the
big
big
roll-off.
roll-offs. If we have a project where, like, tearing down the, balloon building, yeah, that,
And they're
that
not
is
cheap.
not spread across the whole, Swan area. That's each individual city's responsibility for that stuff. They do supply us with dumpsters.
How much are those? Per
CD
day?
box, are they 3 or 350?
I think 300 is what I paid.
And then that's delivery and pickup, and then it's a per day.
Then it's paid by the ton.
Yeah, I think it's $10 a day.
Yeah, and you're
I
charged,
thought there was additional
you're
days.
charged by the ton.
We've always put balloon building to street.
Do we wanna put $1,000 in here somewhere in case we have to rent one?
Well, it is garbage, so I don't know, or do you wanna, or would we put that
Are you
into,
talking about the balloon building?
or would
Or
we
if
put
we
that
need to
in
use it somewhere else?
street budget?
Yeah. We've
Okay.
always
Okay.
considered the expenses to balloon building be street. Just,
Yeah, that's storage.
Let's see.
Did anybody reach out to Amish to see if we'd be interested in that?
Ray is
Ray is working on that,
working on it.
or he spoke to us
Mm-hmm.
about
They
wanting
don't carry
to
like
set that up.
Insurance, do they?
He wanted to set it up where he bid on it as himself as a subcontractor, where he would find a prorated weekly coverage and then have them help him.
But the thing is though, is if we sold the building for $1,
Then we wouldn't
do
have to worry about that.
we care whether whoever's in there tearing it down has insurance?
I don't, that
Is
complicates that, cause I don't know if you can just sell the building and not the land, you know what I mean, like,
No,
I guess we did that shed, but where it's that type of building, that'd be an Adam question, probably to see if we can treat it the same way. But we might be able, I mean, that might be a
It
possibility.
just needs to go away before the ball gets here.
You wanna ask Adam before the next meeting, so if we can put that on the agenda?
Yeah, we definitely need to get
If we
bids.
don't have bids on the next agenda, I'll do one or the other, if we've got,
Yeah,
bids, we'll
agenda
consider
will be Coming out Friday.
Right.
So you wanna have what on it?
hopefully it's bids to take down the
balloon.
balloon building. But
Or-
Because we advertised for them.
yes, we have already
Or
advertised.
can we just can we just advertise first come, first serve, $1, take it away, it's gotta be gone in a week.
It's government you're dealing with.
Open bids for balloon building.
Doesn't beat that.
Yes, hopefully we have a bid to open, and if not, then we will ask if we can sell it. But even then, if somebody owns it, they can do what they want with it.
No, it's gotta be off our property.
It's gotta be off our property, I guess if you make that as
Yep.
part of the sale. All right, well, at that, I think we've covered all 3 departments. I will move to,
You know, I know it won't happen for years.
yes,
But when the green dumpsters are defunct,
sure,
what's Swan do?
we had kinda talked about that, what did?
I don't know if they ever wrote us a check for the can dumpsters that we had.
We'll need to follow up with them,
We
can ask
got those,
Jake.
and we got those with the grant. I
We
don't
did.
remember if there was
but we did
a life value to it.
and we made specifics in the contract with them in regards to that on our first contract, so it'd be worth pulling that up to see what we talked about. Because we did have to talk about the brown ones and how that would need to be transferred ownership and all that between Stump and them and all that, so that I think is covered in that first contract. Or at least we could start with there for reference, and if we have more questions, we can contact Jake. All right, at that, I will make a move to adjourn. Thank you for meeting with us. Next Wednesday at 5:30.
Agenda better say that, damn it, this
I know,
time.
right? Here, yes.
I had
5:30.
it written in my phone at that time, the agenda said 6, okay, well, things changed, so
All right.
I'll be here 6.
Don't get ready yet.
What's
Not
it
that
take?
we have a choice.
What does it take? What does it take?
Well, it's gonna take a